We think about success in terms of boom, people become successful, right? Somebody told me, and this must have been like 8, 10 years ago, they were like, do yourself a favor. If you see an actor who you think is really successful or you're impressed by their work or like they have an opportunity that I wish I had, they were like, go look at their IMDb. Everybody is slowly building, and you really, really do have to give yourself grace that your time could be coming if you just keep doing it. And I still do that to this day. I'm like, who's this person? Let me go see their journey.
Hey there, it's Ginny.
And I'm Monica.
And this is Hitting Her Mark,
a podcast for women in the arts, actors, filmmakers, artists who are passionately chasing their creative dreams,
while juggling the beautiful chaos of caring for those they love.
We're here to share stories, insights, and inspiration, proving that you can hit your mark without compromising what matters most.
So if you're ready to make your creative dreams a reality, let's dive in.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Hitting Her Mark. Today, we have a very special guest. We have Zarrin Darnell-Martin. She's a Montreal-born Canadian actor and writer who has built her career with a steady, craft-driven approach across theater, film, and television. She's a graduate of the National Theatre School of Canada, and she began on stage before moving into screen work. Over the years, she's worked consistently across a wide range of projects, with credits including Ginny and Georgia, The Good Doctor, and Law & Order Toronto Criminal Intent, building her career role by role across genres and with increasing visibility. Alongside her acting, she's also a writer, developing original work and actively shaping the kinds of stories she wants to see on screen, adding a whole other layer to an already multifaceted career. Now she steps into a major moment with The Testaments, the highly anticipated continuation of The Handmaid's Tale, a well-earned milestone that reflects years of consistent work, growth, and commitment to the craft. Please welcome Zarrin Darnell-Martin. Welcome, everyone, back to Hitting Her Mark. Today's guest is one of those actors who's been building a seriously impressive career, one role at a time, across genres, across platforms. And right now, she's really having her well-earned moment. Zarrin Darnell-Martin is a Canadian actor and writer whose work spans everything from indie film to major series like Ginny and Georgia, The Good Doctor, and now The Testaments. She started performing at a young age. She's built a career that really reflects what it means to be a working actor, showing consistency, range, and the resilience behind building a really impressive body of work. Please welcome Zarrin Darnell-Martin.
Monica, what a nice intro. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. This is so important for Canadian artists, for Canadian actors, for Canadian moms in the industry. We need to talk more.
Yes.
Happy to be here.
So happy to have you here.
Yes, wholeheartedly agree. I want to start at the beginning. I'm so excited to launch into your career. You grew up between Montreal and the US, and then you went to an arts high school. You went to the National Theatre School. Can you tell us about your path into acting, where it began for you, touch on some of those earlier experiences?
Yeah. So I was born in Montreal, moved back to the States, lived there till I was 7, moved back to Montreal, and God, acting. My sister and I and our 2 best friends, I think I was like 10. We had a theater company. Like it's so ingrained in me and in us. We took the first letters of each of our names and called it the Mitts Theater Company, and it basically consisted of doing like fairy tale reenactments with a twist. Like I think we did the Big Bad Pig and the 3 Little Wolves in front of my friend's mom. So that's at like 8. That's how it started.
Brilliant.
Yeah. And then I went to FACE, which, if you're a Montrealer, is kind of a legendary school, like a big deal. FACE stands for Fine Arts Core Education. And you did everything there except dance. So it was basically think like Fame, but without dance. And that school I don't think I would be an actor if I hadn't gone to an arts high school. It was so important to me. Like clearly it was in me before, but half of the curriculum was fine arts, choir, band, and theater. I put on my first full-time, production in 9th grade. Every class had to put on And I think we did Lysistrata. Am I saying that right? The Greek
wow,
play.
yes.
Yeah. And that's it. And then I was an actor.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
I was like, well, this is what I'll be doing
Yeah.
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you were
Did it
hooked.
go that smoothly? No.
Does it ever? Oh,
Does it ever?
No.
No. You know what's really funny? The amount, even though I had fully decided that's what I was doing, the amount of failures I had once I had decided to do it, I should not be doing this
I think
because of it. Like,
no, those failures like prepared you and like built resilience across your career, I'm sure.
I think
Yeah. And what was that transition from FACE going into National Theater School? And what was National Theater School like for you?
so. It was not smooth. I went to a really great CEGEP called Marianopolis. So those of you who are not from Quebec, CEGEP is kind of like it's a between high school and university. You do 2 years of like university prep in
So it's like
CEGEP.
prep school.
It's
Yeah.
but everybody does it, and then university is only 3 years instead of 4. Anyway, I joined the theater class there, and talk about great teachers. I had this incredible teacher. There weren't a lot of us in the class who pulled me aside and said, "You should go to the National Theater School." And he said, "I've never had a student get in. I think you could get in." And I was like, "Really?" So he coached me through the whole thing. You had to like prepare, you had to write something. He wrote it for me. I got all the way to the final like audition. I knew I was, and then I didn't get in.
You were
And then
pinned.
I
You got
was,
your pin.
I was so close.
You met the network.
I was so close. And I think I didn't get it because they had asked me, who wrote that incredible piece that you just did? And I was like, my teacher wrote it. And they were like, ugh. And then I went and worked in a bank for a year and was a Visa customer service agent. And it destroyed my soul. Taught me a lot about credit. If you want to talk about credit, I can be really useful right now. And then I auditioned again. And even then, it wasn't easy for me to get in. Like, this is what I mean by my path has been so difficult. They took 12 students, 11 of them got in right away. I was asked to come and do a third audition that nobody else had to do against another person.
What?
The artistic director had us come into a room, told us that between the two of us, there was one spot.
Oh my
And we
God.
basically had like a final to your death audition off, which was like, when I think back at that,
That's
I was
actually
like,
kind of horrible.
Yeah.
so
I don't think you'd be allowed to do that now.
No.
so
You probably
horrible.
weren't allowed to do that then, but
It was so horrible to be pitted against somebody. However, I will say that my competitive ass was like, well, you're going down.
yeah.
Someone's going home today and I know it ain't me.
And it ain't me. I am not going back to that bank. So I got in. And then,
But like, look at that already from the offset, what you had to do to fight and claw your way in. And like, I mean, you're talking about 12 spots, right? Like you earned your spot, but it's
I
like,
did.
this is what the industry's like in so many
Yeah.
ways. Like you're always trying to hustle your way in, you know?
Even before I got there, I told my mom when I was 18, I said, I want to be an actor. I'm going to be a film and television actor. I need an agent. So my mom was a model and she was like, okay, well, I'm going to help you get an agent. So we just kind of walked into agencies and this lovely woman looked at me and was like, okay, yeah, I'll take you. And then started sending me at 18. This is before I went to theater school. This is before I worked in the bank. 2 auditions. Ladies, I was so bad. So bad. Nobody had told me. I had not researched how to do it. I didn't know what I was doing. I remember recording one audition and the guy being like, who's your agent? I need to talk to them. And calling my agent and being like, she didn't even know where to look. She didn't know how she was. And I was like, oh.
Well,
And then I was like, maybe I need some training.
yeah.
So that's when I applied to theater school.
Amazing. And then did you feel like you even got that training in terms of film and television?
No.
No. Yeah.
No.
But it gave you the
Absolutely
basis
was.
of craft and how to approach text and a character and
And community, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Listen,
Yeah.
I don't think I would have my career if it weren't for the National Theatre School of Canada. It is an incredible institution. It was very difficult. It was especially very difficult to be a Black woman going to theatre school. This was 2008, so this was almost 20 years ago, not to age myself, but things were still very, very white, very, very not made for people of color. I was constantly told that I was told in theater school that I wasn't an artist. I was told I loved hip hop, and I used to go out with my friends, and I'd come to school with big hoop earrings. And I was told that I needed to strip away all of that and essentially become more like you're not allowed to wear makeup. You have to be granola. Everybody else that eats hummus and carrots, they are actors. You are not. So theater school was very, very challenging for me. And I was never given a lead part until third year when they said, we found a part for you, Zarrin. It's a musical. I don't sing. And it's for you because she's a slave. And I was like, in 3 years of Shakespeare and Chekhov and created plays, the only thing you could think to give me as a lead was a woman who was a slave in a musical, and I'm not a singer. So challenging. However, community, discipline, friends for life, voice, like just finding my voice. And the best analogy I can give for going to theater school for me is I learned to dance. And I mean that literally. So we would have these dance parties. The whole school would have dance parties every 3 months. And I was a cool girl when I was like 21, guys.
I believe it.
I would go to hip hop clubs, and like I knew how to dance, how people like would look at me and I would feel cool. And I remember going to this like dance for the first time, and everybody's dancing like nobody's watching. And I remember thinking, y'all look stupid. Nobody's going to pick you up dancing like that. Nobody's going to like you dancing like that. And it took me about 2 years to shed what people thought about me when I was dancing. And then by the end of theater school, I was like, just going like dancing as crazy as I can. And that to me is the best thing that theater school did for me. Like I didn't care what people thought about me anymore. Whereas a teenager, I cared about, and you can't be an actor if you care about what people think, how they look at you. Oh, if they think you look stupid. You can't be an actor if you're worried that people think you look stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's part of being an artist, is really believing in what you are bringing and putting out is the thing. And you're gonna you recognize that some people are gonna like it and some people aren't, and you're cool with that.
And the best actors, I think, are the ones who take big swings, look silly, could fail, do something kind of out of the box and wild. And that's what that dancing, like dance like you don't care, act like you don't, like there's no wrong answer to anything. So theater school, valid, very valid.
Yeah. And it's like you don't care what the feedback is.
Right? Offer something, offer a crazy move, and then go from there. But I don't think you can dance freely or act freely if you're not able to offer something kind of like a big swing. Right.
Yeah.
So
it feels like you found some freedom there. It's like freedom and your own point of view, which is also like that's really important as an artist to have a point of view. I want to talk a little bit about your shift moving to Toronto and sort of starting your film and television career and what that shift was like for you. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Where did that begin?
Well, so National Theatre School is in Montreal, and it was just a given that if you wanted a career, you were going to move to Toronto. So I kind of packed up my bags, and we all came and did the big theater showcase. So this is another, if you want another failure story, here we go. We were going to do so you go and you do a big, I can't remember what it's called. Theater Ontario.
Theater Ontario. Yeah, that's what it's
Theater
called.
Ontario.
Yes.
Okay. You sing a song and you do a monologue in front of all of the agents in the city. Everyone in my class got a call from an agent except me.
Aw.
No. This is good though. I want to talk about this because like I'm one of the most successful people in my class. I've been a solid working actor for at least a decade, if not, and before that. And the amount of times that Everybody else was being chosen except me. So everybody got a call from like Gary got like the big agencies.
Yeah.
Nobody called me. I was like, do I go? I was like, I have no other plan. I still came to Toronto, no agent. And I started sending out my photo. I was like, well, I'm not a singer. Maybe I sounded really bad or something. And I got 3 agents called me to come in. One of them, I was so nervous, guys. I walked in and they handed me sides. I didn't know I had to cold read. And they were like, okay, we're going to have you come in and read it. And I had a panic attack. I read it in front of these 2 agents. And then I heard them as they were going upstairs say, well, she's pretty. Didn't get that one. I went into another agent, a man, shined a light in my face and he said, the light hits your face pretty funny. Didn't get that one. And then I walked into one final agent, this lovely, lovely woman. And she said, you look kind. She said, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. And that's how I got my agent. Like, and she was like, can you do a little theater for me? And I was like, yeah, that's what I can do. Did a little monologue for her. And then she signed me. And that was my first Toronto agent in the city. So then I was off. I only stayed with her a couple of years, but it just goes to show, just block it all out and keep going.
Yeah. And you'll find your people, right? Like that's the thing about not everyone is going to love you. Not everyone's going to understand your work or your perspective or your talent, like I think.
Or like your look.
Yeah.
Or like your look.
Or,
one of them called me pretty. The other one said I had a weird face. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But I love that whoever signed you actually saw you as being kind. I mean, what a beautiful word.
What a beautiful word. It gave me so much. It gave me just enough confidence that I needed, because you can self-generate in this business as much as you need. But at some point, you need a gatekeeper or somebody to look at you and go, I see you.
Yeah.
And they were saying, I see you to all my peers except me. And I needed somebody to just say, I see you. So that was kind of life-changing. That was 2010 for me. That was 16 years ago. And that was the beginning of my acting career, for real. Yeah.
Can I ask what was sort of the ratio like with the BIPOC representation?
So back when I started, and I'm sure you know this, it was so bad that you only needed 3 credits to get into ACTRA.
Yeah.
If you were BIPOC, I would go out for any ethnicity role. It was always the same people. Even when I was in theater school, there were 2 of us to 12 students. It was just not a lot. And I when I started auditioning, I never, ever, ever, ever went up for the lead of anything. The amount of best friends I have played in my career to white women is, I like kind of have a no best friend clause now, because I've paid my dues. Like unless it's like Nicole Kidman, I'll be Nicole Kidman.
I'll be your best friend too.
Yes, I'll take that.
I think we'll all be your best friend.
But yeah, it was really not. It was not great. It was not great. And I was going in for anything we used to put open ethnicity or ambiguous. They wanted a lot of ambiguous ethnicity. It's gotten a lot better. I have been part of and seen the improvement. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but it's been kind of wild. It was hard when I started. It was really, really hard.
Yeah, you've had the opportunity to see how the industry has shifted over the last couple decades.
Yeah.
What were some of those earlier bookings, and what did they mean for you as you were building your career? I know that, what I find so interesting about your career is that it's a steady build across so many different kinds of projects. You're building, even as you were building your early credits, there's The Listener, Saving Hope, Rookie Blue, but there's stuff even earlier than that. But you did what so many actors do. You come in for these single episode roles. Like, can you talk about,
I think because I think it's important to talk about, because my perception of success was so I'm on the Testaments with my dear friend Chase Infinity, right? And her career has been maybe what actors dream of, right? She went to theater school. She auditioned for a couple years. She got Presumed Innocent. She got Paul Thomas Anderson movie, and then she got The Testament. Like, just like mind-blowing success.
Yeah.
That is the 0.000000001% of an actor's journey. I had this philosophy when I started that I was just going to do everything. And this is, if anybody really wants some advice, what worked for me was I was like, I'm going to do it all. So I went in for every single one-liner part I could think of. I had friends at a theater school whose agents were advising them not to do commercials. I was like, you want me to audition for 10 commercials a week? I will audition for 10 commercials a week. I over the course of my career, probably did 50, 60 commercials. And when people ask, how did you really learn to act and be on set? I learned to be on set in commercials. I don't know if you can do that anymore because of the union problems, but if you're non-union, that is a good way to start. Like, I want to give like realistic advice.
Yeah, totally.
Did a little bit of theater, loved it. Theater is so important, but because I wanted film and television, I stepped away from that pretty early on, like a couple years after being in Toronto. And I was like, I'm going to make my money working night jobs, and I'm going to go in for absolutely everything I can possibly go in for. So that was commercials, that was one-liners and things, that was the girl standing in the background. Back in Montreal, I had done 2 years of background work. Like, I was an extra before theater school. But again, it wasn't linear. Like, this is where we need to talk about this again. I wasn't like, this at all cost. It actually wasn't booking enough in my late 20s. And I went back to university.
Oh, wow.
I was like, because you know how everybody tells you, let this be if it's the only thing you can do. I was
Right.
like, no, I can't, I don't want to just be like, it's just, nothing wrong with serving. Serving is I miss it a lot of the time. But I was like, I want a career in something. And acting was like 1 booking a year, 2 bookings a year. So I went back to university. I applied for a journalism degree. And I'll tell you, I did both for about 6 years. I wouldn't give up on getting my journalism degree. I didn't graduate. I'm 6 credits shy. I stopped in 2017 because at some point, it's funny, and this is where the lesson comes in. When I stopped putting all of my eggs in I must be an incredible actor and focusing on other things, I started to book jobs.
Isn't that funny?
The minute I went to school, I started to book jobs. And I think I just took the pressure off of it.
Yeah, the desperation, the holding on to something so tightly.
I tell people all the time, go find a hobby, go get another job, go write a book. And so don't give up on acting. I never stopped. It was never a plan to stop. But I thought, I can't just be sitting by the phone.
Yeah.
I can enrich myself in some other way. And by doing that, I feel like it slowly, but my career has been like, sorry, I should
Chipping away like notches on a lat. Yeah.
Just I call to my agent, I call myself the little actor that could. Like I'm just slowly going down a train. I think I can. But whilst doing a million other things. I was serving in a restaurant, was going to university full time. I was going to all my auditions. I was shooting commercials all the time. Commercials, again, saved my life. And I was doing bit parts when I could get bit parts. I did that for about 7 years straight.
That's
wild.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
I love that resilience and the perseverance. And it sounds like you made up your mind that this is what you wanted to do earlier on. And even though you did other things, you were like, this is still going to be a part of my life. You don't have to let it all go. You don't have to be like, well, that's enough. And what's funny is I also went back to school for journalism.
Really?
But what I found was because I feel like you get so much pressure of like, when are you going to get a real job? What is this, that you're doing? And I remember explaining to people, well, journalism is the closest thing to a real job that I want to do, which is acting. But what I found when I graduated was it was just as hard.
Well, okay. It's good that we talk about this.
Yeah.
This is so important. Yeah. So it's like a real job to other people. But then when I looked at how hard the students that I was with had to hustle to get any job, I thought, well, maybe I'll just go hustle in the thing I actually want to do.
Right.
And every time you turned around, they were like, it's really hard to get into photojournalism. It's really hard to get, there's one anchor, two weather people, like hundreds of students. So I'm like, oh, so you're still competing.
Yeah.
I would just be competing in something that I don't want to,
In a different industry. Yeah.
in a different industry. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's true now more than ever.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
where
And
they
everybody-
expect you to work 9 to 5 for free.
Oh yeah.
Making your own content. You had to be doing 8 different jobs. So it's funny, people ask me nowadays, like, even now going into acting isn't secure. I'm like, nothing is a guarantee. Like, unless maybe you're a really good doctor.
Right.
So I feel like I left because I thought I have as much of a chance in this as I do in anything or most of the things that I was going to do. And that was very empowering.
Yeah.
And it was just also to learn something.
Well, and it paid off. I mean, you have 50 plus credits to your name. I want to touch on the shows that you've been given even more as you're building your career, like you said, like those little chipping away. You start to be given more responsibility, more visibility as an actor, where you get to play characters that have more of an arc. Ginny and Georgia, for example, you played Dr. Lily in a recurring role. What was that experience like for you? And what do you think it did for your career? Like landing something like that?
Oh man, in a weird way, it was easier. I know everybody's going to tell you this, but the real grunt work is the day player roles.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
And that's where you earn your stripes. It's so hard. It's so nerve-wracking. I like to talk about this because I think it's important. I basically have a panic attack my first day on set, my first day on any set. Like, you can't tell because I'm so good at hiding it. But like, my blood pressure's raised. I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? I'm nervous. I have to meet everybody. When you only have one day on set and that's your experience, that's harder.
Yeah.
Right? It's more difficult. Landing Ginny and Georgia and things where I got to come back meant that I could actually like enjoy and relax into what I was doing. But I was glad that I had 10 plus years of being like a sniper. Like I could, so I felt like I've battled those things and now I get to come and like have an arc and meet people. It made me appreciate bigger parts because I had not languished, I shouldn't say that, because I had worked so hard in the day player parts, in the smaller roles. I didn't take anything for granted when I got given a reoccurring. And even now, being a series regular on something, that feels good, right? And but it also has changed the way that I treat day player people. I think they're the hardest working people, especially in Canada, in this business. It are the people that do our principals, our guest stars. It's so hard. So, the more I get, the more it makes me just appreciate where I've come from, if that makes sense, or putting in the hard work to get there.
Oh, yeah. And that makes you like, that's amazing. Like, it makes you also like as a leader on set, like I had a barely anything role on the Testaments. And I just remember driving home with you that day and I just felt so welcomed. And yeah, you definitely have that aura to you of just like a welcoming person on set. And yeah, it's important to remember the grind and the hustle that got you to where you are, right? Like,
listen,
I feel like,
and also acting is, I tell people all the time, acting is tennis.
mm-hmm.
It is like you're playing back and forth with somebody. So even if I'm there all the time and Monica, you come in to do one scene, we're equals. Just because I am lucky, I think, to have been chosen to be there regular, it doesn't. So I say to people, when you walk on set, we're all equal. We're all playing it together. Give that person their eye lines. Be there for them. When you're acting and you're not on camera anymore, don't give 50% to your day player.
Mm-hmm.
Give them 110% like you're doing the scene as much as you can, because that's going to make the whole project better. That's going to make them better. That's going to make you better. I just don't believe, I know our industry is set up in a hierarchy, and I've been on the bottom, I'm climbing, there's people above, I understand it, and I respect the hierarchy. You have to. If not, the system doesn't work. But really, we're all equal, especially amongst actors. We have to treat each other as if we're partners in everything, right?
Yeah. Totally.
It's so great to hear you say that, because that's my career. It's just basically been been these day player roles. And especially now, because you don't even get to go in person a lot of times, it's a self-tape. So you're
that
just
wild?
going, and if you've sent 2 takes and you book, I don't know which take was the one you got sold on.
Yeah,
And
it's
being able to have a scene partner who's been around longer, that understands the director a little bit more. And a lot of the times I've worked with some great actors who will kind of understand that I'm kind of in a no man's land. And they'll sort of ask the questions for me and be like, you know what, in this scene, like, this is what I was thinking. And that communication in that community is so important. And we're so grateful for that.
or just understand that also you've been given less context. I used to try to explain to people that when I would walk on and do all the day player roles I did, or all the like 1 episodes, I'm not being given 3 episodes before. I'm not being given 3 episodes. Most of the time sometimes I wasn't even sent the entire episode. So I actually have no context for what I'm saying. So you have to rely on the more experienced actor there. And also, I'm meeting people for the first time. I'm trying to impress people. Day players are given less coverage. They're usually made to go first so that the series regular actor has time to settle into the thing. So it's such a difficult job. And my goal when I'm on the Testaments now and a day player walks in is like, I got you. This is where we're at. Do you have any questions? Like, we have to help each other. I just have to. I have to. I spent too many years. I would walk on set and I'd tell when other actors or people recognized what I was doing, and then when they didn't, and I was like, I will never be like that to anybody.
Yes, 100%. Like,
I
there's
love that so much.
no class system. And it's also like integrity. That says a lot about you too, Zarrin.
It's also, and this might sound terrible, but I want to say it plainly, but I don't. It's also how I'm successful.
Right. Yeah.
In Canada, at least, it's a very small. Toronto's a very small place, even very small. Everybody knows each other. If you are a team player on set, if you treat people, I always say my biggest thing is lead with kindness on set. You will get more jobs.
Yeah.
I know I am friends with casting directors. I worked for them a lot. I know if somebody's unkind on set, they know. If somebody is, I've been in the room with them when a director is called and said, I need somebody pronto. Send me somebody good and nice and easy to work with. So if I go on set and I'm easy to work with, I'm pleasant, and if I have a good reputation,
Yes.
then I will be put for, and it's literally happened where they've said, we only want nice people. Send us your nice actors.
Yeah.
So we're not the States. You cannot afford in Canada to be a diva, I hate that word because divas are awesome. To be rude. I don't want to associate diva with rude because, like, I'm a diva. But you know what I mean. You can't afford to be unkind, to be rude, to have an attitude, to have an ego, to think you're better than other people. We can't do that. Or you can, and I good luck. That's what I think.
Right. I want to talk about The Testaments, which is so good. It's so good.
So good.
It's airing on Hulu and Disney Plus right now. You play the role of Aunt Gabbana. The Testaments is a continuation of an already iconic story, The Handmaid's Tale, and there's a built-in audience with strong expectations. Can you share your experience of working on this incredible show and taking on the role of Aunt Gabbana?
Start with like the audition process.
Yes, we want to know that too.
curious.
Yeah, start there. Perfect.
Okay. Audition process is kind of wild, meaning I think what I just said about being kind really played into this. They were filling the other roles. So they'd had all their big American casting, and now they're coming in and filling their other roles. And I know that the production has like a kind people, please. So I got the audition. It was 3 short scenes. I did it with my partner. And I remember looking at the audition and thinking, ugh, this is mine, which I think about everything. But to be honest, you think about more sometimes. Sometimes you're like, that would be a nice job. And this time I was like, oh gosh, I want this. No makeups, pared back, really simple. Audition in my bedroom, on my white wall, no frills, sent it in and then forgot about it. Because I forget about every audition the minute I press send without fail. Whether I want it or not, I do not follow up. I do not think about it. It is over for me. That's how I cope.
You did your job.
I did my job. It's gone. Then I got a request to reshoot, and I didn't realize that I was close. I had no idea. And a casting director friend actually sent me a message and says, just so you know, this is an actual, like, this is a big deal. And I was like, oh my God, it is? And she's like, yeah. And so then I took it more seriously, and they gave me the option of retaping with casting or doing another self-tape. And I said, well, is anybody important going to be there? A producer, a director? And they were like, no, but you could tape it with the casting. And I said, no, I'll do another tape. And then I did some research about the character, sent in another tape, and then I booked it, which is wild because my first series regular didn't meet a producer, didn't meet a director, didn't go into the room. But this is what I mean by reputation. Mm-hmm. I do know for a fact that casting strongly vouched for me. Said, no, she's kind, she's great, she's solid. This is an amazing person to hire. So when I talked,
she's been consistent because they've seen you throughout the years, all of your self-tapes, right?
So yeah, I have been very, very, very consistent. And even if you don't book the part, sending in a great self-tape matters. So yeah, so that's it. That's how I booked the job. And I could not believe it. I was so excited. I still am so excited. What a thing to be a part of. Once in a decade show, real prestige TV, which for me was a big deal. I have done, and I need to say this because I want people to know this, a lot of MOWs, a lot of Christmas movies, a lot of commercials, a lot of things that a lot of people would look down on. Mm-hmm. And maybe not anymore because the industry is deeply changing, but 7, 8 years ago, if you were doing MOWs, acting's acting, guys. A job's a job. And here I am on this incredible prestige TV show with the best writers, producers, crew, cast that I can possibly think of. It is a literal dream come true. It is wild. It's kind of wild. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Do you normally, like when you are offered these Zooms, because I know this particular casting director usually offers the Zoom, but the option to self-tape, do you generally opt to self-tape or how does that go?
I only self-tape now. I will not do a Zoom audition unless there's a director or a producer in the room. Period. End of story. For me, having a child, so I have a kid. Mm-hmm. I have responsibilities. I'm a mom. I have to pick her up. If I'm given a Zoom audition with a specific time, it's very difficult for me now to make it. When I self-tape, I can put my kid to bed. I can have a cup of tea. I can relax. My partner, he sits over there in a chair in the corner. I can do it on my terms. I did 15 years of running to auditions in person. I think I've paid my dues. I get nervous for auditions. I don't get nervous for self-tapes. Why wouldn't I present the version of myself where I don't have any nerves? That's just my strategy. I know for people, they need a reader. And why not? Because making your own self-tapes, we're production studios now. Yeah. It's in a weird way, it can be a little bit more difficult. Or if you're paying for them, that's also a financial strain. I don't pay for them most of the time. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. Yeah, no, I'm a big send in a great self-tape kind of gal. What about you ladies?
I've had a mix, to be honest. I feel like I prefer self-taping because I agree. I think you put your best foot forward. And then I do get nervous in Zooms, but I've also had success from Zooms. So it's like, it's hard to know. It's hard to know. I think I kind of take it on a case-by-case basis. If it's maybe a casting director where I've done more tapes and I haven't had success there, I'll say, okay, let's do a Zoom this time just to shake it up.
Yeah.
And that's worked out for me. But yeah, I always prefer a tape because I know I can send a good tape. And
what about you?
Yeah, I feel the same way about tapes because it's also you have that opportunity to do your 2 takes. A lot of the times with these Zooms, I feel almost like used. Like, well, it's so fast. And then they're just like, thanks.
Yeah,
I can do another one.
I've done a lot of so I stopped. Actually, I still do it. Why am I saying that? I read for casting directors. I did it a lot in person before the pandemic, and I did a lot of it via Zoom. It's been a very great way for me to learn what people do, what works, what doesn't work. Ask for a second take. Ask for a third take.
Yeah.
Even if you think your first one is good and you want to do it again, ask. They will never say no, and they will take the best one if it's the last one.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's a great tip.
I ask. There are some people who will ask for two, three. Oh no, I think we got it. I would just like to do one more. Do another one.
Yeah.
That's my advice if
Okay.
you're.
I would say too, just to piggyback off that, if you don't need to do another one, then don't do another one.
Don't.
Like I had an audition recently, a Zoom audition, and my first take was great. Like I did my first take, I felt good about it, and they were like, "Great, like
Yeah.
we want to do it again." And I was like, I didn't really need to, and I did anyways, just because they put it out
Right.
there, and I did it.
Right.
And I was like, my first take was better. I booked it, but my
Yeah.
first take was better, and I was like,
Yeah.
that's a lesson. Like I could have had the confidence to be like, no, I think I did what I wanted to do today.
Even like if we just talk self-tapes for a second,
Yeah.
I am a big believer in taking the pressure off of them. I maybe will do 2 or 3 takes of everything. I do not spend anymore hours and hours on my self-tapes. You would be surprised. You could do a take 10, 15 times. And if you gave it to somebody and you gave them your first one and your last one, they're probably very similar. Right? So just like.
And they probably like that first take.
Right,
Because after 15, it
ain't
not
fresh.
that great.
Right? No. Anyway, good. Yeah. Great. That's being a reader tip.
I love
and
it.
actually, I would love to know how you became a reader.
Yeah. How do I become a reader? God, I have to think for a second. Because when I was doing it in person, I think I put out to my agent that to tell casting that if they were looking for somebody, I would like to do it. Because one of my friends told me they did it.
Mhm.
And I was like, that's something I would like to do, even though it weirdly scared me. And then I did get an email from my agent. This might have been like 7, 8 years ago, being like, "Oh, they are looking for somebody. Would you like to go in?" Because it's a paid gig. You
Interesting. I didn't know
get
that.
to watch dozens and dozens of people audition. Back when it was in rooms, wowza, did I learn some stuff about what worked and what didn't in the room.
And it probably gave you like perspective on like this audition was great and this audition was great, but you can only choose one.
Or on just how little control sometimes you had. I was in the room reading for the lead of Ginny and Georgia. Like I wasn't playing the lead for they were trying to cast the actress who was going to play Georgia. And they brought in some of the best Canadian women to be this part. And they came in and every single one of them knocked it out of the park. Like I was like, wow. And then afterwards, the casting director said to me, "Oh, but they've offered it to an American, or it's gone out to this person."
It's so depressing. I mean, she's amazing. I mean, whoever was cast was amazing.
She's amazing.
But
I thought, I hope those
challenge.
actresses, but I also thought, I hope those actresses don't leave and go, "Oh, did I do something wrong not to get that?
Mhm.
I could have done this better." No, most of them were like amazing. But I also, it's depressing that happens. And unfortunately, that does happen for us a lot here in Canada. Do you guys remember the rule where they had to audition Canadians?
Yeah. Reasonable efforts.
Right. But I remember thinking, wow, this is also a great opportunity for these people to come in and show what they can do to a casting director. So it's not all lost. But yeah, those are things I learned in the room.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's still nice to be considered. At least you got a chance to read.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to put yourself out there.
Yeah. You're not only it's not about just booking every single credit. It's like that saying, you're booking the room, you're developing a relationship with casting. They're getting to know you as an actor, as an artist, the kinds of roles they can put you out for. When opportunities come up, they'll think of you. This is part of the game, right? It's part of putting your time in and developing.
So much time.
Yeah. I want to expand into, because there's so many facets to you. I want to also step into your writing, because that seems really interesting. And I always think when an actor's writing, sometimes it's a need to create their own work
Yep.
But you're doing this animated series. Can you tell me? I'm afraid I'm going to butcher the title, so maybe you say it.
Sirenka, the
Sirenka.
Warsaw Mermaid. It's an animated short. It's not a series. It's
Oh,
a
sorry, my
short
apologies.
by the
Yes.
no. By the most incredible artist who approached me and asked me if I could write the screenplay for a concept that she had. Because she's like, I don't know, I need an actor or somebody who can write. And it's in development right now, and it's going to be just the most beautiful animation that you can think of. This person is a very celebrated video game artist, so I'm very excited for her. Her name is Tina Nawroczki. Writing, I've always written. It's so funny. I feel like my writing career is almost where like my acting career was 10 years ago, where I got so many no's. So it's funny to have success in one facet of my artistic journey and be like being back where I was when I was starting out acting. Because yeah, ladies, I'm writing, I've got pilots, I've got comedies, I wrote a feature film, I wrote an MOW, and it's all been no.
Not
Applied.
yet. It's
But
there've been
this
not
is-
yet.
Yeah, but I say no with like a big smile on my face. Like I say no, like I really take no's as like a, oh yeah, watch me. So
Love
that's
that.
where I'm at with my writing journey, where a couple of applications to telefilm really close asked me to reapply with the same project, said that, you know, I was there one pick away from getting it, reapplied, got another no. So we're in our no era with that. Which is a place I like to be. It's a place I really, really like to be. And I'm hoping that with more agency and freedom in my acting career, people will start saying yes to the other part of what I'm doing, which is why you just have to keep going.
Oh,
Right?
100%. I see
Because
this for you.
you know, my writing's great, but you're in competition with so many people. It's really hard to get anything made now. Yeah, so we'll see about that. Thank you for asking. I'm really passionate about it, but I'm deeply in my no era, and we're gonna see where that takes me.
Yeah, I'm
But I
excited
love
to
your
hear that takes
mindset
you.
about it.
Exactly.
Right? Like you're so you already know. You've been
I
through this, you know. This
I
is a
know,
phase.
and I don't wanna minimize no's. Some of the no's I've had have been deeply personal and crushing, and made me question why I was in this industry. Terrible, terrible, terrible no's, difficult no's. I lost a part once because they said my thighs were too big.
Oh my God.
Right? Like, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. But I picked myself up and I kept going. So I do feel like there's a deep power and resilience, but I don't want it to be like, I just no doesn't hurt my feelings. Deeply hurts.
How
Deeply
can it
hurts.
not? Yeah.
And but then if you want this, you keep going. And that's the power in it, right?
Yeah. I think that's I mean, there's something about like no's can be really helpful. They can also steer you
They
in
can be constructive.
constructive. They can steer you in a direction. But I love that mentality of like, I think different things drive different people. And it sounds
Mhm.
like for you, like that sometimes can drive you to be like, oh yeah, let me show you. Let me come back with something. How has your relationship with rejection changed over time?
It's funny because even though I'm like the no queen, I think I like it less and less. I do think when I was younger, I was a bit more, less was at stake. You know, right now, sometimes I feel like I could just be spending so much time with my kid and I do all these things. And then, so I don't want as many no's. So I really need to stress that it's not that they're easier, right? It's more that I don't let the no's anymore. Okay. The no's used to be easier. Now they're harder. The no's used to hurt my feelings more. Now they hurt my feelings less because I do know who I am now. I'm 41. I have a 5-year-old. I have a family. I have great female friends. I have great friendships, but mainly great friendships that have lasted decades. Nothing you say anymore can hurt me or take away my life. And that's why I always try to tell people to go build a life, because that will make all the rejection that is going to keep coming, even as I'm more successful now, it's going to come bigger and faster and stronger. Like the no's are going to come from more powerful people and bigger projects that I really want to do, right? But I don't let that define who I am, how I approach my work. Whereas when I was younger, it was like, it hurt. It made me insecure. It made me, or like when I got told my thighs were too big, for example, I was like, I gotta lose a bunch of weight. Now I'm just like, that's a toxic thing to say.
Yeah.
We don't do that. I
Want to work with
perfect.
you. Yeah.
I am perfect in my size 8, 10. Thank you very much. So that's how it's changed. I have a real life for myself where I don't care what people think about me. Yeah.
That's great. What
Yeah.
advice do you have, Zarrin, for young artists out there that might be struggling? They feel like they're doing everything right, but they're not getting that momentum in their career.
Mm.
You know, what advice would you give to those artists?
Who are not getting momentum.
Or
Well,
just
it's been
not
what I
feeling
did.
like they're doing all the things, but they're not where they want to be, or just trying to, make something of their
Yeah.
careers, and maybe they feel like giving up. What advice would you have for them?
Give up for a little bit. Go do something else. Like, don't really give up. Don't, but go fill your life with other things, I think. And I think some people might disagree with this. I know there's a lot of people who think it has to be you live and eat and breathe the thing. I don't think so. Go really get into pottery and make some beautiful artwork that feeds your soul artistically, so that when you're doing the auditions or the job, that's not the only thing. If you hinge your entire happiness on this job, you will be unhappy. It's a job too, right? I have found the more I move up in my career, weirdly, the less artistically fulfilling it is, right? Theater, very artistically fulfilling. Being creative, amazing. Working steadily, a job. It's a job. I'm artistic on set. I'm artistic as Aunt Cabana on the Testaments. But where I get fulfillment now is doing my writing, is doing creative things, is doing crafts with my daughter. So I would say to somebody young, like, go do a bunch of things. And also, I think if you look at people's careers now, especially very successful actors, it used to be that you could just make a career being an actor. Even the most famous actors now all have other jobs, all have like product lines that they're selling. And I'm not saying that that's what you need to do. I'm just saying everybody's kind of diversifying right now. And I think you'll find success if you go take a class or plan a weekly dinner with your friends where you do something, just anything that takes the pressure off of the job. That's it. That's my advice. Take the pressure off.
Yeah.
Yourself, your life, your job. Go dance, go do something fun, go back to school, go make money a different way for a moment, so that also you're not desperate doing the audition. You don't, I also was better at auditioning when I was financially secure. And for me, that looked like doing commercials and waitressing 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And not doing plays. I didn't do plays for a long time because I was like, I'd rather be financially secure and auditioning for film and television with no pressure than doing something artistic but having too much pressure on the film and television jobs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense. And I think that exploring these other things, it's going to make you a better actor because you're going to know, right? You're going to get a script that says, hey, now you are a lawyer, or now maybe you are into pottery, whatever. And you're like, I know this. Like, I've got my little wheel right here.
Yeah.
And it just expands your world, expands your imagination. And the thing is, maybe you discover that you really like this other thing.
Yeah.
Maybe you like it more. Maybe you're better at it. But also when you do get those auditions, yes, it takes the pressure off, but then it becomes fun again.
Yeah,
And you start
exactly.
to appreciate it.
Being on set is the most fun thing that I can actually think of. I don't feel like it's a job for me. They're like 18-hour days. I'm like, let's go. I love it so much. So I do, when I book the job, I'm like, oh man, this now I get to play, now I get to be here, now I get to like be with my community, be with my artists. I get to make something that people deeply, deeply care about and is meaningful for the world. Talk about the Testaments right now. Oh my God, so important.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, just life experience is wildly important. If you live in a bubble, you can't be an actor. You can't, if you have not, go be a barista for a while. Go do something where you see all different parts of humanity. I think it's so important.
Yeah. Life feeds art.
Yeah.
Okay, we are reaching our hour, so I'm gonna have to rein it in. But this was so good.
Yes.
I
keep
don't know.
going with you guys. Let's keep going.
I got like emotional multiple times in this interview. Like, my God. Okay.
I'm so inspired.
Yes, me
Stop
too.
it. Stop it. I love to talk about my journey. I feel like it's been very hard. I try to be as vulnerable as I can about how incremental it has been.
Mm-hmm.
Can I leave you with my favorite little anecdote that I did that
Yes.
I think might help other actors?
Yes, please.
We think about success in terms of like, boom, people become successful, right? Somebody told me, and this must have been like 8-10 years ago, they were like, do yourself a favor. If you see an actor who you think is really successful or you're impressed by their work or like they have an opportunity that I wish I had, they were like, go look at their IMDb. And I remember I was watching the movie Loving, starring Ruth Negga, and sitting on my couch in my apartment. And at this time, I'm in school, I'm waitressing, I'm booking day player roles. And I was like, oh, she's so good. I want that part. How did she get it? And then I went and I looked at her IMDb, and lo and behold, 10 years of one short film. Next year, another short film. The next year, 2 actor roles. Nothing for 1 year. The next year, 3 episodes in something, and then nothing. And then 1 movie. Like, it was so incremental. And this is not true for absolutely everybody. Chase Infinity. Like, it's not. But everybody is slowly building. And you really, really do have to give yourself grace that your time could be coming if you just keep doing it. And I still do that to this day. I'm like, who's this person? Let me go see their journey. And I go back and I look at the journey and I go, wow. Yeah. So that's just a thing I do.
That's a great tip, because sometimes we'll go on their IMDb and all we're looking at are their most recent huge hit credits, what they're known for, who their agent is. And you're like, oh my God, there's LA. There's, they've got all this big representation, but it's like, go back. Go back.
Yeah.
Everybody's just working towards something. Also, I'd be happy if my big thing didn't come. Bigger thing. I don't think you can get bigger than Testaments, but you know what I mean? Like the lead of something that I want. I have goals. That might happen when I'm 50.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? So lucky to be a working actor, and grateful for you guys. Thank you for doing that.
Thank you for having us. Thank you for
hosting you
for being here.
I was on a ride.
Because you're asking us questions, like what a great conversation.
I do want to end the show. Zarrin, I do want to end the show with our final question, because we do ask this to every guest. And so I have to get it from you too. When you hear the phrase hitting her mark, what does that mean for you? How do you define success in your life, personally, professionally, or however you see that statement?
Success for me is that I have become a working actor when so many people told me I couldn't do it. When so many people looked at me like I was crazy. When so many people said, you're still waitressing. I have hit my mark, and it feels amazing that I can be an example of an artistic career for my daughter. That is, she keeps asking to come on set with me. That's success for me. Success for me is the amount of rejection that I've taken in stride, and that I am here talking to you guys about it today, that I've hit my mark. If I may be proud of myself, I'm deeply proud of myself. And I want to do everything I can to help other people feel happy and comfortable in this incredible job that we have. That's my goal. That's it.
Wonderful. Thank you, Zarrin, for being a guest with us today. It was
Thank you for having
conversation.
Me. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to Hitting Her Mark. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. For more content and updates, follow us on Instagram at Hitting Her Mark.